Welcome on in again, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you've been staying tuned, and if you have not, this is the Victory Road Unite Clash number 11, featuring GGtoor. I'm Dr. Kendo, and I'm joined by Kanashi once again in the caster's chair, man. What has been the pathway to get here, and what are we looking at next? The Grand Finals.
Yes, we are hopping into the Grand Finals, and we have a ton of really good games for you guys. We just saw for the semifinals, we saw Zeddy Esports versus Maned Wolves. Maned Wolves ended up taking that game. On the other side of the bracket, we had Love D's versus Luckerbunch, and Luckerbunch ended up taking that 2-0. And so both of those teams, Luckerbunch and Maned Wolves, are going to be facing off here in our Grand Finals. And just like every other Unite Clash, it is going to be a best of 5 here. So we are going to have a longer series, but it just results in better games later down the line. We'll see if there's any shakeups moving forward, or if these two teams just know what they want to play and are really adamant about it, know exactly the game plan. We'll see if they do change up anything moving forward.
All right, so I want to see everybody in the chat maybe cheer on your favorite teams or just cheer on both of these teams. We want to see you get wild here because we got that Grand Finals. And just as kind of a production note, which I might actually repeat when we get into the match just in case, but we did just want to say, if you're not like an authorized user for these matches, please don't upload them to your, socials or whatever, your channels and stuff. I think in general, it's probably fine to clip something, of course. We're just talking about kind of re-uploading the whole VOD and stuff. So I think we all get it, right? I don't want to harp too long on that, but anyway, I saw some of y'all in the chat earlier. They were saying GGtoor is the best from Hellraiser Gaming, so we really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And yes, get that bracket pulled up, everybody. It's going to be a doozy. We at least hope it is. Luckerbunch and Maned Wolves. I'm ready for it.
Yeah, both of these teams really came out swinging, and they know how to utilize the Absol to the best of their ability. So we'll see if anything is going to be switched up as they're going to continue on forward. But yeah, this is going to be a very interesting matchup overall, and I am excited to see what they decide to bring right out the gate, as well as some of the adjustments that they'll make later down the line as well.
Sure, so Absol definitely been kind of the champion of today, and the tournament that I did yesterday that you saw, you saw a lot of that Absol, and it's just obviously with the most recent updates and shakeups and workarounds here, Absol just kind of has that even more time to shine, because I think a lot of people, if you follow a lot of the people on Twitter who are in the pro scene and that we see play this game a lot in these tournaments, a lot of them were speaking to that, saying, hey, you took a Pokemon that was kind of already broken, and now it's definitely a broken mod, so Absol coming out swinging. Let's just hope everybody has the counters for it. It's very likely we're going to see an Absol, but I would say, wait until the roster, which is going to be happening right now.
All right. Yeah, we already just have them locked in. All right, this is going to be fun.
Yep.
We'll see what Arg is going to end up playing. They are one of the kind of random pickups here. We'll see if that is going to be something that they are used to. On the other side, Sultan is going to be going back to that Delphox that has really helped them out, just dealing a little bit of damage and trying not to lose out on positioning. That fire spin is really important to not only deal damage, it also slows and then also lifts them up and creates a little bit of crowd control for that one specific Pokemon. So it's going to be really interesting to see if they utilize that along with Angel, and if that is going to be enough pressure to go ahead and let them win this game. On the other side, you do have Arg this time picking up that Slowbro. We've seen the Scald come through mainly because it does that attack reduction. So being able to hit that onto Absol as well, plus the chip damage, is just enough sometimes. It's just something that you have to keep in mind as we're going to be continuing on forward with these matches.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, all the roster picks have happened. We are now about to hear that ready go for this, the first game in our Grand Finals of Victory Roads Unite Clash number 11, my friends. And once again, just to make that quick production note, please don't re-upload this as a VOD to your channel unless you're an authorized user to do so. But here we go. We got that 1-1-3, both sides. And of course, both sides going to be running the Absol in the central area.
Yeah, just getting that farm up, trying to keep everything flowing to the best of their ability. but we will see how they are going to go ahead and play. You do see the Hoopa from Luckerbunch already rotating up to top to go ahead and help main Wolves a little bit, just creating a little bit more space for them, as Fappy is going to go ahead and bother Kanai here, and they're going to go ahead and get that quick kill. But now, will it be for free? No, Fappy going to be able to get that stop up, and then Angel's going to get pushed back by Lakoding. So really good heads-up play there. Meanwhile, on the backline, Sanji might be looking for that. Going to go ahead and find one, gets that last hit as well, is going to go ahead and bring that down. Early kills going in the way for Luckerbunch right now.
Definitely solid. And look at that. You're going to get a dunk in that's going to create that 40 Dunkins right here. Look at this. And then we're going to go ahead and throw in a few more points. Why not? Let Coding go ahead, stack it up. There we go. So Angel coming back in, probably with the Fists of Fury, the Claws of Fury, because yes, that will be the traded KO after coming back right here from main Wolves. And so the action is already intense. And ladies and gentlemen, we're not even 2 minutes in. So thank you so much for cheering on your favorite members here, or your favorite teammates, I should say. Team members, there we go. I can get the words right. All right, in the chat right here. And just to answer, we are going a best of 5 here for our grand finals.
Yes, we are going to be watching a lot more of these. Sultan dropping dangerously low as well, but you see the way how Luckerbunch is playing. They're making sure that their top laner is good. They're chasing out Nick. Can they get the last hit? No. Going to be able to save themselves with that little bit of a boost from the goal itself. So overall, great play there. They are taking a little bit more pressure this time onto Man Wolves, and Sanji dropping dangerously low. Are they going to continue the chase as well? We'll see if that is the case, but they are going to try to chase him out. Going to be able to go ahead and rotate, and now it's up to Man Wolves to go ahead and find a way, or Main Wolves, in order to go ahead and try to continue the pressure moving forward. They're looking at Kanai once again. And it's interesting, once again, like Feppy is just up here applying pressure, utilizing Trick to get the speed and allowing for a little bit more damage, as they're going to go ahead and find the opposite number here from Main Wolves.
Absolutely right. So here we go. We got that 720Bs, and of course, if you're looking at the mini-map or you just know the clockwork in this game, you're going to be looking for Dreadnought. That's generally that first major objective that we'll be looking for. We want to really, again, thank and appreciate everybody there in the chat that's with us, because we are dialing up the intensity here in this grand finals, and we like to see it. So currently, Luckerbunch already doing really well in that early takedown, with Sanji bringing out their, of course, main Wolves with their Hoopa is going to help, and that Midnight Slash going down here is kind of a response from both Souls here. So this is definitely going to be that knockdown, drag-out fight that we want from the Dreadnought, but Sanji just kind of creating that environment early on that created all of this. Nick again dropping dangerously low. Again, that Blissey and the lasting power has been fun to see, but that ultimately will go to left side team, which is Luckerbunch, here for that first Dreadnought of the Grand Finals first game.
Yeah, and they have that damage going through. You see the Aura Cannon, and now they're trying to bring down Sultan, which they will. Just applying a ton of pressure here to that front goal, and they're not going to go ahead and break it, but they are going to apply a little bit of pressure. And now you already see the team rotating top, and this is one of the few times where we've seen Luckerbunch utilize Trick rather than having to utilize a hyperspace hole. Might be a miss. It might have been a miss skill, but overall it's been working out for them in order to continue the chase and chase down some of these characters that are a little bit more problematic when it comes down to like speed and damage in general.
Yeah, definitely right. And so Nick, once again, just kind of by the hair on our chinny chin chin, we're going to barely escape that once again with that Blissey. And Nick tries to come back in, actually, instead of just sort of recovering fully, and will drop down. Finally, you bring down the Juggernick instead of Juggernaut, right? Anybody? Okay. Anyway, the Rotom right here going to be our next objective right here. Thank you, Kadashi. Courtesy chuckle, baby. All right, so Luckerbunch going to go ahead and bring this on through. We're going to get that Rotom and create that pressure again on the top path.
Yeah, this is a really interesting play, and like as stated, the trick into Phantom Force, like it's allowing the team to get super aggressive and then be able to not only be aggressive but also take space and then go ahead and get out as well. Just because it does give them the same option, gives them the same abilities as whatever ability they last used. So if you are under Trick and you happen to use Phantom Force, the other Pokemon has the ability to Trick as well. So it's just really good overall, and utilizing that in order to rotate rather than the hyperspace hole has been pretty good for them overall.
Yeah. Well, you saw Coding earlier, unfortunately losing their lives there for that KO. It was looking like the escape was imminent, though, and that was the surprising thing. It was just kind of a hyperspace hole at the last second. A few things that made that turn the other direction. But look at this. Left side team, so Luckerbunch doing really well against all odds, right? They are going to go ahead and secure another Dread, and we've got the shields, the experience that come with that, and then the push that often follows as well. So you are going to see, of course, main Wolves lose their Absol, but then try to come back into all this. Sanji going to just take a nice, easy, calm, cool, and collected, right? We're going to not KO. We're going to TP back to base and then be ready for some more KOs to come, I'm sure.
Yeah, they're playing it nice and safe, but overall, Luckerbunch just applying so much pressure to these front 2 goals, and could potentially go ahead and take the Rotom as well. We'll see if that is the case moving forward. But now they're looking at the Bliss Assistance is going to be able to keep them up for a little bit. They do have a lot that they can recover if they happen to have it in time, but no, they don't. Blissey, Superior getting that quick slap in and trying to push him into the Midnight Slash. Not going to happen. The Blissey is going to go down, Wand going to go down, and now Sanji's on the hunt, looking for more. Happens to get one more, looking for Nick this time. That's going to be 2 minimum, now getting the 3rd. Will they score on this? No, it's not going to be the case, as main Wolves is starting to go ahead and apply a little bit more pressure here. Going to go ahead and look at that Rotom that Sanji clearly has in his sights. See if they happen to take this, or if there's going to be a little bit more pressure coming out from Luckerbunch.
Sanji, you're looking very aggressive and in kind of the best way disgusting, right? Because we're just linking these combos. We're getting off all of this with our Absol, the Psycho Cuts and everything. So it's looking pretty beautiful, I'd say. But wow, we're going to notice a takedown right here. It was certainly not really in the right neighborhood, I guess, if you were Kanai right there for main Wolves. That's their Lucario. And so right now, Arg still just withstanding all of it. That name almost fits for what he must be saying during all this time. Arg, ouch. And so anyway, that, of course, Slowbro finally going to be brought down, but it was not without a lot of kind of making that life worth it,
Yeah, just having to trade out so much is important for them. The coding, trying to look for Angel right now as they try to juke their way through. Might have the speed here, not going to quite get out as he knows that he wants to go back home. A nice last hit there. 2 minutes just about to roll up, so the Zapdos just spawning in right now. We'll see how Luckerbunch and main Wolves are going to go ahead and face off here. We do see the Hoops Unbound coming out from Feppy early, trying to deal a little bit of damage onto Nick at the moment. Can they get this? And they are still looking at the Zapdos. The damage coming through, and the Oracan is going to go ahead and clean that up as well. So really good job by Luckerbunch. Keep their foot on the gas, and they are going. Trying to go ahead and get that damage through. Angel's going to go ahead and clean up 1 at least. But Sultan trying to maybe climb their way back with this quick score up here with the 50 dunk, turning into 100, and just make it really tough for main Wolves in order to play the comeback game as Luckerbunch is slowly starting to respawn in.
There was the Hundo Duncan, ladies and gentlemen. Pokemon Unite runs on Hundo, so here we are. We're going to teleport back and then teleport back on in. And so here it is. It's going to be main Wolves dropping in another 66 with all point values doubled. This can look nice. You can even drop in some 12s, and you're going to result in 24. So obviously, math looking good when the point values are doubled. It's just I think this might be a little bit too steep of a hill to climb for main Wolves, even though it was looking a little bit good. Trying to make that kind of last little push, even though you're losing here by points. And so ultimately, it's just now we can see the devastation, right? Luckerbunch is now brought into Platoon, and they're going to go ahead and get in an 84 on this goal, and that's really going to solidify things because main Wolves are dropping. It's looking pretty tough, so there it is. That's going to be the surrender.
Yeah, they already knew that there wasn't going to be a way to catch up, especially after the next 100 finally went through the net. So overall, good play by them and continuing on with the pressure. And yeah, Luckerbunch is going to be taking game number 1, just applying a lot of pressure with that Absol and playing a really tight game overall. Lakoding taking home the crown there as well.
With a final score of 457 for Luckerbunch to 191 for main Wolves, we can obviously see the picture of that match. But again, like the previous one that we were talking about with these line graphs, we really did know what the illustration of that match would look like. This is it. It was crystal clear to us. I think, Luckerbunch obviously holding on to that lead basically the entire way through. It just got bigger and bigger as the match went on.
Yeah, they just held on to it, didn't really give them any time to play around, and kept their foot
Right.
on the gas. It was just a really good play by Luckerbunch, and hopefully, Maned Wolves will make a response, have a response to this. But overall, Luckerbunch played a really tight game, and it worked out in their favor.
And so we should be moving on, of course, to the other details as well here pretty soon. There it is. Okay, so I was going to say, once we see this, we can see, obviously, who's got the damage, who's been packing it. I think we kind of know, though, largely from what we've seen so far. Angel, obviously, with our Absol, but then Luckerbunch. I mean, Luckerbunch's been stacking up with these Absol players, so we'd love to see that 90K right here, almost matching that 105K there from Angel. We're looking solid.
You have to also give a little bit of credit to Feppy. It's one of those few games where the actual pickup of Trick really helped out the rest of the team. You would think, oh, hyperspace hole is the way to go just because you have, mobility in order to get around and stuff. But when your team is as aggressive as Sanji and Lakoding, if you happen to give them the proper Phantom Force Trick, they can be as aggressive as possible. And then when they're ready, they can just go back in to a safe distance and then just back out of the entire fight. So overall, really good play by Luckerbunch. We'll see how Maned Wolves are going to go ahead and make that adjustment moving forward.
That's right. A nice 171 dunked in from Luckerbunch as well. I mean, they're wearing the crown for a reason, right? Sultan, of course, with a 100 right there. Kind of ditto, you could say, to that same point. And so we'll try to get you this action as quick as we possibly can. But just in case anyone is just now joining us, you're seeing the first game play out right now for the grand finals, and the victory handedly goes to Luckerbunch for that one. We're gonna have to see. Maned Wolves, you got an uphill fight probably, but how can we do this? Well, we not only have to stop that Absol dead in its tracks, but also we just notice how Luckerbunch's been playing this whole time. If Maned Wolves has kept their eyes on this, then they're definitely going to want to shut that down as well. So, I mean, then you've got Arg there as that slow bro who is just lasting out through so many of these fights. It was everybody playing their role, but it was brutal, Like, it's going to be quite the fight.
Yeah, they aren't making it easy, and it's not going to be any easier, especially moving into this game number 2. You have a team that's confident and ready to go, and we'll see if there are going to be any adjustments moving forward, whether it is the switch of the Delphox, even the Lucario for the other side. We'll see if there are changes. I mean, we saw a lot of Serena earlier. We might see that come back as well. We will see how well these teams or how deep their pockets are, how deep can they go in terms of the Pokemon Unite roster. And hopefully we get to see somebody who is really good at what they do, and we'll see how well these two teams are going to go ahead and face off. Once again, grand finals are a best of 5. This is only game number 2, and Luckerbunch has the lead at the moment with just 1 win, and we still have a lot more game to go.
Absolutely right. So I'm sure we'll be seeing that in mere moments, but go ahead in the chat if there's anything that you have to say about these matches. We want to hear it, or which team you're cheering on. Of course, we love to see that stuff in the chat. Otherwise, just thank you so much for being with us here. Kanashi, I cannot believe we've gotten in the double digits on our Victory Road Unite clashes. So this one being 11, it's like you would think we've seen it all, and I don't think we ever do. There's always something I feel that's kind of new in each one that can give us some flavor. And the flavor of the day, I guess, for this one has been Absol, of course. And how do you counter that? How epic does it do, and then how do you shut it down? That's the point, right?
Yeah, it's just like it, as you stated, there was a patch that kind of made Absol was kind of busted to start. And then they're like, how about we overtune it just a little bit? And by a little bit, they meant a lot of bit. And then it turned it into the monster that is able to make Zapdoses disappear. So I do think that it is really important to make sure that you're prioritizing those levels for the Absol in terms of the damage. But we are getting into the next game. We'll see how the roster shakes up, if there's anything that is going to surprise us moving forward.
And so, here we go. Surprises. Sultan going to be going with that A9. So we love to see Alolan Ninetales around here. I think you guys know that. Arg, actually, are we going to go with Pikachu or are we going to remain that tank? Because right now, the way that you're set up over there on that right side, and of course, just do keep in mind, viewers, so it's not jarring, they do switch sides each match. So obviously our main Wolves over there on the purple this time. But like I was saying, your team comp over there on the right is like all still the same except for that one player. So there it is. We're going with that Slowbro very likely. And the green check mark will confirm for us. You're going to have that tanky Slowbro. And let's just hope that this A9 can do something here. We do have the slowing power. Kanashi, do we have anything else to note about Alolan Ninetales going up against that team comp?
It's mainly going to have to do some kiting. It's going to have to stay away for majority of the fight and utilize the space that it can make. We don't know if most likely it's going to be the Aurora Veil. Aurora Veil right clicks, we do see the X attack coming through, so I'm expecting that to be the pick, but if it's not, you know, Blizzard Avalanche is still nothing to scoff at.
Yep, more power to him, right? So anyway, we're going to go ahead, hear this ready, go for Game 2 of our Grand Finals of the Victory Road Unite Clash number 11. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. So, the central area very likely will be inhabited by these Absols. So yes, we will see that transpire. And of course, 1-1-3, where you send your Lucarios up top, everybody else going to the bottom path. And it's all taking place as we expect that fight here for the Audino, of course. Kind of that little mini Dreadnought almost, but yeah, that Audino is going down right away, and then that team fight, of course, that kind of takes place. It's like a miniature team fight as well.
Yeah, they utilize that in order to make sure that they have the level advantage moving forward into the rest of the lane, you know. Big difference between level 3 and 4 for a lot of these Pokemon, so yeah, gotta utilize however much you can get as early as you can get, so really big overall.
Luckerbunch right now looking decent with that 16, of course 19 as we're talking, but it's very close with that 12, and we're only a minute in, so that's going to be very typical. Go back, get these citrus berries, and then you're actually going to see a few of these larger dunks for such an early part of this game. So when you got 16, that's looking nice, and then Sanji going to go ahead and bring them down. So Absol on Absol, going to go for Orange Absol.
Yeah, just trying to bring down as much as possible, but Lakoding still dealing that damage, trying to push him towards the team. Already has the first KO, and now is looking at Kanai. Can they have it to get that? No, they are going to go ahead and bring down Lakoding, but it's a lot of pressure has been already applied by Luckerbunch, especially on that top goal.
Yeah, so while top path's in a little bit of danger, we're also seeing the main Wolves push back a little bit there on that bottom path. Luckily, we're going to see a swing here with that KO, and then we can go ahead and nice hyperspace hole, right? Get our healings in, then come right back into this fight very quickly. And so with that, top path trying to look to maybe bounce this back, right? Because we're going to target Feppy right here, maybe pull out this KO on that support. There it is. And Lakoding says, I want to punish that, but obviously your numbers are down just a little bit. Gonna steal some of that wild though. This is gonna be very nice. So Lakoding gotta punish in one way or another, right? And that's how we're gonna do it.
Yeah, and they are trying to grab whatever they can here, and Lakoding gonna go ahead and bring up a couple friends here, including Sanji, as they're gonna go ahead and get that E-speed reset and the damage through, trying to dunk as much as possible into this front goal. They're leaving it at a number above 20, just potentially if they do grab the Rotom, it won't deactivate it immediately. So I think that is the play. Actually, it's at 17. So maybe it is just time to go ahead and just score. Try to get this as close as possible to 1 and then just see what you can get.
Yep, I mean, you bring up a valid point, though, about if you were going to wait for that Rotom and do it that way. But anyway, we are going to likely see this turn to Dreadnought with our focus. But before that happens, you're noticing 2 drop right there from main Wolves. So Luckerbunch really does want to keep applying this pressure. This play has been pretty aggressive, and you do feel sometimes a little bit better as that team that won the game number 1, of course. So if you have that victory kind of under your belt, maybe you're in their head a little bit, you know, and so as the other team that lost it, the onus really is on you, right? Man, lots of damage right here, and unfortunately actually teleported back. Not sure if that was meant to happen or not, but A9 could have possibly pulled off the last second clutch KO, and it will not happen right here.
Yeah, they're just trying to deal whatever damage they can, as Band Wolves just trying to zone out Luckerbunch as they make their approach onto this Dreadnought. See how the team is going to go ahead and play this out. Luckerbunch is going to go ahead and secure it down. They're looking at the A9 now, hopping inside of its own Aurora Veil to go ahead and get its boosted attacks going for them. It's not going to be the case, as they are going to have to back up. We do see Angel trying to deal a little bit of damage, but it looks like the side of Luckerbunch is going to actually pop their Unite move go ahead and create more space for the team. Damage coming through, already losing a couple members of Luckerbunch, and now it's just down to these two. Can they survive the push? They do have ultimate mode Hoopa at the moment, and they are just ready to go. But Maned Wolves now looking to apply a little bit more pressure to that front goal.
And pressure will be applied. Look at that. That's to the 40 right in the nick of time right there. So Maine Wolves, very nice to dunk that in right here, because we're going to see that shifted the score, obviously. But it's that little bit of motivation, too. So you can't count out that mental factor of it. Then you see a drop, though, unfortunately, of our support. Once again, our Hoopa here for Maine Wolves. Now they need to kind of just regroup and see if we can defend some of these pushes, because Luckerbunch is really trying to push back. That's exactly what's occurred, right? So we are noticing some KOs, but also the scores to make this into their favor by 2. And so Kanashi, this is kind of where pushes are going to be happening on both paths, but really this bottom one's getting beat, you know, really to death, I would say. And so there it is. The snow globe is popped from A9. Still looking to be in a little bit of trouble, though, so I wouldn't feel too comfortable after that. It, you know, tried with all its might and then finally brought down.
Yeah, and they're just trying to zone and create some more pressure and spacing for the rest of the team to go ahead and score and dunk in here. And it looks like they are just going to opt to break that bottom one just so they don't have better positioning for Dreadnought moving forward and in the next 10 seconds.
Right, like that's kind of a base level thing too. You know, you think about, well, you have a little bit more speed when you've got your goals up, you got that HP regen and stuff, so those are just sort of the basics. But even with that, you know, the XP is going to be different too, where the wild Pokemon spawn. And so anyway, now setting up for that Dreadnought. This is that second fight. You usually see it. There's the rings unbound for both teams, bringing in everybody. So we got all hands on deck, but some of them dropping from Maine Wolves. Not looking good for them because he has right side team. That's Luckerbunch. We'll go ahead and pick this up after a full team wipe down there at the Dread. So they now have their pick. What do? Well, we rack up these points. We maybe either go score or do like this. We're going to TP back to base for a little bit of that mobility to try to make another move.
Yeah, and they are going to have to figure out how they want to go ahead and push into this. I mean, Maned Wolves are not that far behind either, so it's just a matter of finding a little bit of footing and continuing to push with that pressure and create an opening for your team.
Definitely so. So we're going to see leg holding right now, caught up by that A9. That'll obviously slow you down with that slowing effect. And then the snow globe at the last second after that Aura Cannon went down. And so here it is, folks, the knockdown drag-out fight already taking place right here. And we're going to have a little bit of time before Zap, of course. Now we're turning it around on Luckerbunch. So Maine Wolves coming with that push that they needed. You did notice, though, on the bottom path, there was a small push over there by Luckerbunch. So while all this distraction was happening, luckily we're going to see what a goal. Yes, that 50 is going to feel really nice in the pockets of Maine Wolves here, and to be deposited is going to look nice, but still not quite get them the lead as we enter that 3-minute mark.
Yeah, we are entering into 3 minutes, which, you know, gives you about a minute before the final stretch. We do see them prioritizing Zapdos here for the side of Maned Wolves, just to apply a little bit of pressure moving forward into the Zapdos play later. Arg definitely not getting out of that. It should be more like oof at the moment. Lakoding trying to go ahead and clean up the rest of it. Happens to find one, but Lakoding dropping dangerously low, and Kanai going to be able to clean that up. We'll see if the Rotom is going to go ahead and push, but it looks like it is going to go ahead and be defended at the moment. But we have about 30 seconds or so until the final stretch starts up, and we have Zapdos in play.
You probably noticed, Kanashi, but viewers at home, Maine Wolves was at a little bit of an impasse of what to do with that Rotom. It's how much do you walk it in, you know, and try to push with it, and then how much do you let it go and then try to, of course, leave them to defend, and you'll go and, you know, tend to other things, of course. But what that ended up doing was, of course, Luckerbunch, it was kind of like a hybrid of those two options, and Luckerbunch was able to obviously defeat the Rotom quick enough and just kind of get every member really positioned really well, because we can see that happening right here for the final stretch. I mean, everybody's hiding out in the tall grass that needs to, and I think we just got that song and dance, right? We have to figure out, if you're Luckerbunch, you're kind of getting the high ground, I would call it, you know, metaphorically, of course, but here it is. We're going to start that engage, and it looks like Maine Wolves, though, doing a lot of good work here on the bottom of this, like, legendary pit area, basically, because the rings are unbound. That means anybody can teleport if they need to enter this team fight even closer. Everyone was around, it's just were they actually on that team fight, and so that's just an even closer, even easier mobility for it. So look at that. We're going to see some drops right here from Luckerbunch. 3, and of course 1 right now from Maine Wolves, but we did have to see Lucario teleport back, and so here it is. Angel going to be bringing down Sanji, and that is definitely going to be painful for Luckerbunch. They needed that muscle, they needed that might, and the devastation, I guess, that was normally brought on by Sanji. But we also do have Lakoding over there if you're Luckerbunch, so looking solid. Kanashi, look at this, the Zapdos down to 90 and below, and there it is. Luckerbunch gonna come in and take that from right underneath their noses.
Yeah, it was really close overall, and they are going to try to go ahead and score. As you still see, it's not over yet. They are still only down by a little bit, and I speak of the devil, they are going to go ahead and score 100 for free. Superior now has to go ahead and figure out if he has a way of scoring here, considering that Maine Wolves literally just dunked in their bottom one, and they have to score at least 8. We'll see if that is the case. They are going to get brought down, and now they have to figure out if they have the lead right now. Maine Wolves has the lead. They're going to continue it. They're not going to be contested here, and they are going to continue on with the pressure that is starting it out here. And wow,
Yeah,
it's one of those ones where you didn't think the late Zapdos would mean a lot, but they really did take advantage of what they could score there.
well, it was really interesting, you know, because for the Zap to go to Luckerbunch, but then for Maine Wolves to kind of come back from that after a match that was definitely tough for them. Major props. So that's a 292 is that final score for Maine Wolves here for 264, and that's for Luckerbunch. So we're seeing now a 1-1.
Yeah, it's all tied up here at 1 apiece right now, but Maine Wolves like play that pretty well, honestly. Like they were just waiting for Luckerbunch to go ahead and start it, and then they go in and steal the last hit. It works best for them. But yeah, 292 to 264. That's final score. And overall, just a really good play by both teams.
Looking very good. I mean, that was the illustration, right, of this match. So, like I said, it was an uphill fight, but Maine Wolves pulling it off. And so, yeah, Anime Lou said MW could have this. I know we're on a delay on the chat, so yeah, it's going to be fun to see you guys watch that take place. Yeah, they said they got it. So you are right. Anyway, there's our damage markers right here. Lakoding once again coming out swinging, but obviously Angel right there. We love to see that from Maine Wolves with that 107k and Lakoding at 106. Very, very beautiful.
Yeah, just a lot of damage coming out from both sides, and I feel like it is a overall like good composition coming out from both teams. We'll see if there is going to be any switch ups moving forward, but yeah, definitely a nail biter, definitely getting close.
Absolutely. So we'll go ahead and, of course, bring you this action as quick as we can. Obviously, all the behind-the-scenes logistics have to take place and whatnot to get these two teams, and they will be switching sides. So once again, just keep in mind our Maine Wolves were purple that time. Luckerbunch is going to go ahead and take that purple. The Maine Wolves will take the orange. So just so that's not a jarring experience for our viewers. But I would say, you know, to Kanashi, but also to the viewers at home, this is what we like to see. I think we've seen a lot of those types of games today in this whole Victory Road tourney for us. These are games that are won by one team, then won by the other, and then they're back and forth. And, you know, it keeps people on the edge of their seats, I would say, sometimes when this happens.
Yeah, it's a very close match overall. We do have high damage coming out from the Absol and the Lucario respectively. So I feel like there is a lot that needs to keep going. I would like to continue on with this. You know, it is 1-1 Luckerbunch and Maine Wolves. Maine Wolves is from Brazil, so once again South America. And Luckerbunch, I believe, is an NA team, so we'll see how this goes and plays ahead.
At least largely. So yeah, let's see. Okay, you were answering the chat right there. I was just about to answer it, but yes, and I love to see the Go MW. So we have our fans of Maine Wolves right here. Surely we have some Luckerbunch fans too, you guys. Absolutely amazing. And so like we say, we'll just bring you the competition as soon as we can right here. I guess on any other, you know, like, let's think about predictions, right? And so the prediction of which Pokemon is not being used, essentially, like in the roster of Unite that we really want to see come into prevalence. So this doesn't mean, you know, one that's not here yet, but we're talking about the ones that are here. Who do we see and want to kind of get their day. Maybe it's get their day back or get their spotlight, you know? That's the question.
Um,
Fun
yeah, as a
hypotheticals.
uh, support defender for me mainly. I
Mm.
wouldn't mind seeing Snorlax becoming a little bit more of a popular pick, especially since X speed is now like the go-to item. You're allowed to push them while you're holding up your shield. Really important. I also do think that there was oh yeah, Wigglytuff. I don't know what happened to
Yeah.
Wigglytuff. It is a harder setup, but it is definitely one of the ones that like you do have a crowd control stopping ultimate. You have a form of crowd control with either Sing or Rollout, and then double slap as well if you happen to use it, or Dazzling Gleam. So really
Right,
interesting
right.
match overall, and we'll see if somebody will go ahead and pick that up, but I doubt it.
Definitely doubted as well. You know, it's kind of been the forgotten little stepchild, maybe, of Pokemon Unite. I don't know. It's been just that kind of that forgotten Pokemon now, and it is sad. It's kind of, as we've discussed, we've seen it in the previous Victory Roads, let's say, several months ago, for a while. So, yeah, Wigglytuff, unsung. But I'm actually going to echo what VTuber Pinky was saying. I want more Mamoswine. And I think they're trying to bring Mamo up. You know, they brought a little bit up here in the updates, but clearly we have not seen it in the tourney scene. I was watching the tourney, casting a tourney yesterday. Kanashi was watching it. We didn't see no Mamos, and clearly we're not seeing Mamo yet. So Mamoswine doesn't have its day. I'm also a fan of Decidueye. I don't think Decidueye is necessarily out of the spotlight, but I don't think it's like fully in it either. You know, I just love seeing Decidueye play. So here we go, though. You're seeing Sultan gonna go ahead and pick up the Pikachu as the decision right here, but we're still sticking with the Absols all around. We got our Slowbro up there for Arg, and so yeah, we're largely looking at a similar game here. It's just always seeming to fall on Sultan as the one that's going to be picking up a new choice each time.
Yeah, and it's just applying a little bit of pressure and element of surprise, as you would say. It continues to push in so far, so we'll see how it goes.
We're seeing in the chat the point that Blissey counters Wiggly, so rip. So I think essentially I was trying to pose the question that it would be like, well, can they bring one of these Pokemon up to more of a prevalence, you know, and get it more in the spotlight? And so we would hope that, of course, in that process, it would maybe help a little bit against its counters. But you're right, Blissey, definitely prevalent, but would Blissey be as prevalent if Wigglytuff was more prevalent? That would be the question.
Yeah, and I feel like there is that one thing where it's like all of these Pokemon have an out and have a counter to them. I know that we're going to have more, so at some point there will be other ones that counter other ones. We're just going to have to think of it more as like a huge rock, paper, scissors game right now. But Maned Wolves definitely applying the pressure first, just getting that quick 7 dunk in. And we'll see if Luckerbunch happens to have an answer for this.
So, of course, waiting for those APOM, right? So they needed to decide, hey, can I get these? Is this the time? So, yes, it does look like it's the time, right, can I? So there you go. I'm going to pick those up. And then, obviously, Pikachu coming out the gates right here with a lot of damage. And Nick, luckily, going to evolve, get us a little bit more HP because dropping down very low. And this allows, actually, Sultan to kind of hit this Slowpoke that's trying to pursue. So Arg really trying to overstep and get that, and it looks like it will be punished. So Maned Wolves, wonderful job there in that little exchange, I would say, between actually making 2, I think, from Luckerbunch drop out. So very, very well done.
Yeah, now they're looking at Lakoding, just chipping away at him a little bit. But overall, Maned Wolves has to switch up the way how they've been playing, especially after match number 1. They saw how aggressive Luckerbunch can be if you give him the space and or resources to go ahead and do it. And Maned Wolves is just more, or Maned Wolves is playing a little bit further back and just trying to continue to farm up and get whatever chip damage they can.
Definitely so, and Kanai actually dropping a little bit low right there, but seems to have everything kind of under control, so we're looking good. Sultan also dropping low right there as that Pikachu, but we're trying to regroup, and it's not anything that's going to be too devastating quite yet. We're still early on in this matchup. Only 7 points scored in though so far, though, and oftentimes, you know, you will see those 1 through 6, 1 through 8, you know, scored by Lucario and stuff. So again, it's a little bit rare to not see more points than that on the board, but hey, it's completely fine. We're looking at a relatively even push for both teams and even effort for both teams here in this Pokemon Unite. It's the Victory Road Unite Clash number 11, you guys.
Yeah, we're still continuing on with that pressure as Maned Wolves is just playing it nice and slow, happen to get the bees, and now they're going to go ahead and teleport down to bottom. Now you have to play around the fact that you have Trick. You cannot quick rotate down there, so it's going to be on Luckerbunch to go ahead and play back a little bit and hope that they don't get insta-picked right now.
Go the ways of old, where you actually walk. Back in my day, we used to walk. Okay, so here we go. Dreadnought's actually going to get bursted down very fast. Luckerbunch, though, going to go ahead and take that. It did look like we saw a lot of orange to begin with. And ultimately, Luckerbunch there, that purple squad, is going to have the numbers. They're going to have the takedowns. They're going to get the dread. So it's looking good now if you're Luckerbunch, because you're going to go ahead and dunk in with that motivation, that steamrolling, right? It's snowballing, maybe. So there it goes. All the effects taking place are going to forget a little bit of damage, but hey, we're still stacked right now. And they're trying to make the punishment on Superior this time, if you're main Wolves, but not really either of them going to drop. You're going up against these tanks, so it's looking kind of how it was expected to go, I would say.
Yeah, and now they're already looking at top. They said, hey, we lost the first objective. Let's try to go and get to the last bit here. But yeah, they are trying to go ahead and figure out what they want. Here's the Midnight Slash to go ahead and open things up. Looking at Feppy, but he is going to be able to get out of there, utilizing that initial Phantom Force to go ahead and push. We are looking at the next one. AR going to go ahead and shred up the Pikachu. Now they might set their eyes on Rotom, but instead they're looking for Angel. They're trying to apply the pressure and get them out of the spot, but there's a quick 40 dunk coming in through. Now he's trying to go ahead and finish this off. It's not going to happen.
And Select Coding definitely running a little bit of distraction, of course. Maybe that allowed Luckerbunch to get a lot more of these hits on that Rotom, because they will go ahead and secure that. But you're noticing the push, though, that comes afterwards, because obviously a lot of those numbers were maybe distracted by Leg Coding and kind of taking care of that, but then they all pushed together afterwards. And so they've let the Rotom touch down, but you see what the result was. You know, they made this major push on the top path. And again, it's looking good right here for MW.
Yeah, now it's just a matter of where. Oh, well, we're about to get to the second Dreadnought right now. We'll see how well the positioning comes out from either Maned Wolves or Luckerbunch, as they are slowly starting to approach each other here.
All right, Juan gonna go ahead and drop down this. It's the rings unbound, and that's both teams, but left side team will quickly pick up this second dread. And so with all the teams teleporting, though, we do have that full team fight. Who's gonna drop first? It looks like some of Luckerbunch, but also you're gonna lose Lucario here for Main Wolves, and we are so close to actually seeing Feppy drop. There it is. Before he can get to the citrus berries, that will be another drop. Look at this, absolutely disgusting. So wonderful job from Angel, as that Absol making a mad tear.
Yeah, looking to go ahead and get out of this fight with as much damage as possible. Still a little bit behind, but that's nothing in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
As we see Luckerbunch trying to catch up and trying to figure out how they want to approach the rest of this game.
Right, that's the point, right? Is that we're only an 8-point difference right here and still have just about 2 minutes until that final stretch. So you guys, here's another one of those team fights, and these are all just pretty knockdown drag out, and so that's a great way to describe them, I would say. Look at this, you know, Main Wolves actually having the numbers advantage, but so many of them dropped pretty low right there. And so here we go. That's going to be a nice overcap with those 46 points on a goal that had like, what, 8 or 9 points on it? So, yeah, looking very, very solid if you're Main Wolves right now. Just kind of keep this up. If you can keep this going into that final stretch, maybe win that Zapdos, of course. You would like that. We did see what happened last game, though. It was not required to win that Zap to also win the game.
Yeah, it's just a matter of if they happen to play more default to prevent the initial scoring, it would have been different. But they do see the Rotom slowly marching towards their tier 2. We'll see if that is the case, as the team has to now deal with this Coding in dangerous position, going to get brought down by the Blissey. And now the rest of the team is trying to figure out how to climb back in and how to go ahead and apply this pressure, especially moving into this final stretch here.
That's right, Rotom kind of picking, and everyone else is just poking and prodding, but picking at all those players from Luckerbunch. But it's looking good for them because they don't have to contend with that anymore, and before Zapdos, of course, as well. So right now, I think we're seeing a lot of regrouping, of course, but also that push on the top path. So I was going to say what happens here might dictate how we move forward, but I don't know, it just keeps kind of going back and forth, and there's going to be a hyperspace hole on that goal. And then you're actually going to see Blissey drop down right here at the hands of Angel. They're going to see if they can go ahead and burst down this Dread. It looks like they will be able to. You got two of them on it right there with Nick and Angel. They're going to go ahead and take this, but look at that. There's a 50 scored in, all while that's transpiring. So what did you need? Well, that levels, that experience, probably good. Of course, you did give up that goal on the top path, but, you know, it's not the end of the world either. So we're going to see maybe this team fight take place right here. Hey, look at that. We got the rings unbound already in the choke. And so that's going to bring Maine Wolves anybody they need. And there's the rings unbound to answer from Luckerbunch. Here it is, that Zapdos fight in the final stretch. Whichever team wins this, of course, is going to now put them in a win advantage. But it's a best of 5 set, ladies and gents. So we got that Zapdos going way down right here, and Luckerbunch solid because they bring him down with that full team wipe and then just easily bring down that Zapdos like it was a bug. And then we want to thank so much Indie Bear for coming in with that massive raid. We really do appreciate it. Hope your stream went really well as we notice, of course, the opposing team surrenders. That's going to be Maine Wolves right there. Unfortunately, have to throw up the GG Kanashi. They're raising that white flag. So we'll see what that final score breakdown. We're looking at that final score of 218 to 206.
Yeah, overall a close game. You know, they stopped it immediately after the Zapdos, so no extra scoring, but definitely leaning more in favor of Luckerbunch in that moment. So I do like the way how they're playing now. They are just playing it nice and slow, happening to find a couple picks with Lakoding and Sanji. Just really good pressure overall, and I'm ready to go ahead and see them play even more. You know, we are only on game 3. This is a best of 5 grand final, so if Luckerbunch happens to steal one more, it is the game. It is the match, and they will be the winners of Clash number 11. Meanwhile, the Maine Wolves just doing what they do best, just trying to figure out what they want to do next, and if they happen to make the right choice, you know, bring this into a game number 5 for us.
Our line graph here shows us just how close it was for the beginning of the game, but then it really took off after that. So then we'll get a look at the breakdown of all the damage and things, the scores. So here you go. You got scores all over the board, which looks nice. Of course, when you consider a surrender, you know, the scores are going to look a little bit different like that. It's going to look a little lower, not in the hundreds and things. So anyway, notice obviously that 72K and the 83K here for Maine Wolves. That's, of course, going to be our Kanai on Lucario, Angel on our Absol. Very, very nice, wonderful, but obviously everyone else on all across the board, largely, of course, everybody kind of doing their role, right? You know, we see our Feppy here at 22K, you know, but obviously much of the recovery for other people, Superior there with that massive recovery, so it's all kind of looking how it should.
Yeah, it's looking really good overall by both of these teams. Pretty close too. I just think that they have to figure out a way how to stop not only Lakoding but also Sanji, and continue to push on forward, and hopefully they can continue to snowball that into something crazier.
We're actually seeing in our chat, MW Wolrin said, damn, I told him not to surrender. I'm sorry, viewers. Hey, you don't have to apologize. This was, I mean, it was a good match, my friends. And so now with Luckerbunch, as Kanashi noted before, if you're just now joining us from Indie's raid, let's say, you might have seen the numbers, but just in case, we want to maybe update you that Luckerbunch is now with 2 wins here in the grand finals to that 1 victory right now for Maine Wolves. So obviously the onus really is on Maine Wolves to try to come up with some kind of victory here. And it's going to be a tall order. That's kind of the word I like to use for these sorts of scenarios, because that is a team that is going to be putting up definitely a big resistance there on Luckerbunch. Kanashi already noted Lakoding, but also Sanji, and so we're looking at those two as top damage dealers, often top scorers, and so it's again, it's going to be massive.
Yeah, it is definitely an uphill battle for the side of Maine Wolves. I do think that they have what it takes. We've seen them; they literally won the first match here, so it's just a matter of them getting that like snowball back, figuring out a way how to push back against Luckerbunch and letting their main 2 people, Lakoding and Sanji, just farm, and how to stop that overall. If they happen to get those things working for them, we will definitely have a bigger match on our hands, and hopefully a closer series moving forward. But once again, that was game number 3. It is not over. It is a best of 5. We still have one more match minimum, 2 more matches maximum, and we will see if that snowballs into something later down the line, or how these teams are going to end up playing against each other.
So we hope to bring that action to you as soon as possible, ladies and gentlemen. I think many of you know, if you watch these tourneys often, if you're coming from Indie Stream, welcome on in. But we just want to say, just in case you're unaware of all the logistics going on behind the scenes, there's a lot of point people. You got your captains on the teams, you got your managers, or you got the TOs. Everyone's got to just kind of coordinate, and they'll communicate with each other here behind the scenes. And so from us as a caster's perspective, this is always the time that we either choose to create a discussion, or we just sweat a little bit while we wait, kind of, okay, how quick are they going to get into this match, and we don't want to rush anybody who needs to get things done, of course. So obviously we're not saying, to not pump the brakes if it needs to happen. Obviously, we don't want any disconnects or anything to mess up the tournament experience. So anyway, thank you so much for being here with us. Victory Road Unite Clash number 11. And I'm seeing Lingy in the chat, one of my most favorite people in Pokemon Unite. We love Lingy, part of the Gigalings, and so happy to see you here joining us. And everybody, sound off. Who do you want to win? Who are you cheering on? Maybe it's both teams. Maybe it's the maned Wolves, the M-Dubs, or maybe it's that squad of Luckerbunch.
And we will be hopping right into the character picks, character selection right now. Looks like, Luckerbunch just sticking to their guns, something that is very consistent. I feel like the thing that we have to see moving forward is what is Sultan's pick? Sultan so far has been the one who has been kind of the random pick here, and that is the thing that's going to determine whether they move forward or if they are going to go ahead and get caught up here. So we'll see where Sultan is, if they are going to pick. If they fell in, it looks like Pikachu at least is hovered right now, and it's going to be selected, so it's going to be a Pikachu moving forward into this potentially final game here, as Luckerbunch has a lead against the maned Wolves, against the maned Wolves, 2-1 at the moment.
Keep in mind, of course, just so it's not jarring for our viewers, they are going to switch sides, so maned Wolves right here as that purple squad this time, of course Luckerbunch being in the orange. Thank you guys so much for being here. We're about to get this next game started, so let's obviously wait for those bars, but it's as Kanashi noted, we got the picks. It's all looking like it was, but, it basically comes down to how are they going to play? How are the mechanics going to play out? And so that's what we will be here for. So here we go. It's just a few more seconds, right? We're just waiting for those little bars. Come on. A little bit of progress. There we go.
There we go. We're getting there.
As commentators, we have to hype up even a bar loading, right? Oh, the bar's gonna go first. Sultan is gonna be the one that gets it. Something like that.
Yeah, Kanai is gonna be able to follow that up immediately. So we are gonna be hopping into game 4 here between Luckerbunch and maned Wolves. This is Luckerbunch's potentially tournament-winning game. They happen to win it. Otherwise, maned Wolves from Brazil is gonna end up pushing it on into a final game 5. So that is what's at stake here for this match, as we are about to get it started.
Wonderful picture painted there, Kanashi. And so we are going to see, of course, Absol taking over that central area. Of course, that's going to be typical, right? Because when we have that 1-1-3 and we have those Absols in the picture, this is just how it goes. And so there's the Electro Web, comes down really early on Superior, and Superior still will withstand as that tanky Chansey right now. Same to Nick, obviously dropping low many times in this whole tourney, but definitely coming out to play and staying up with all this damage. And of course, we now already have Slowbro on the field. Talk about lasting power. That's going to be Arg as that Slowbro.
Yeah, they're just gonna apply the pressure, play this as well as they can, getting whatever farm they can as well. It's definitely gonna help them out in the long run. You do see how much pressure is being applied by Luckerbunch. Getting those early levels, having it work for them, seems to be the way how to go right now. They're looking at Sanji, going to go ahead and bring him down. A really good play by maned Wolves here in order to go ahead and take out the first pick, and especially on somebody who's trying to hard carry on that Absol.
That's right. Here we go. We got a dunk of 19 for Luckerbunch, but then it's going to be answered from a dunk of 16. These are pretty higher point values for the early game. We're going to be looking at 8 coming up on the clock pretty soon, but not before Arg is going to withstand even a little bit more. You're going to notice, of course, soft boiled run right now on Derperior, so just want to make sure our viewers at home are seeing that right here. Not always the Blissey pick these days, but Blissey maybe getting a little bit of that shakeup, and then there we go. It looks like Feppy will be the final hit on that KO right here, bringing him down on the top path, and this is going to allow for just even more dunking, bringing that top goal, getting much more close to 0 as it was before, with that 28 points still standing.
Yeah, they are just applying a little bit of pressure here and there. We are about to hit into 1 minute before the first initial spawn of the Dreadnought, so see how these teams are going to go ahead and prioritize the rotation or not. Angel looking at Feppy right now. Can she go ahead and get this tag up? Feppy barely escaping here. Angel wants it. The pursuit is trying to get back there. Feppy trying to keep the speed going, and Angel still somehow alive, but still wants that kill even more. Not going to give up on the play. Really good play overall, and making sure that Luckerbunch is feeling that pain, especially right before the spawn of the Dreadnought and the Rotom.
That's right. While you don't want to be brought down in that situation, the one solace that you can take in that is that you did bring somebody off of an objective, off of the play, and, you know, maybe just off of the field for a while, but wow, definitely sticking with it. So anyway, Luckerbunch surrounding this Dreadnought right here on the orange, but obviously we can see a little bit of main wolves, purple. They're trying to infiltrate right here, being zoned out a little bit, and maybe if they can stall just a little bit, some more people can join, but I don't think that's going to happen because right side team will go ahead and grab that Luckerbunch, getting that Dreadnought.
Yeah, they happen to secure that down. Luckerbunch is trying to get those levels advantage going their way. Not as, you know, how can I describe it? Not as big as it used to be, like in the previous semifinals matches, but these little boosts of experiences are going to be able to snowball into something bigger, especially when it does lead to your Absol getting even more pressure and more push. Now they have to really worry about like how big can this Absol get, and how are we going to play catch up here?
Definitely so. We saw the Aura Cannon go down. Coding is doing work right now as that Lucario, and here on this top path that's going to be needed, you have that 40, so you can kind of get this overcap of points, and it would look really good, but Sanji also with that 45, so anybody can kind of dunk this in. It's really anybody's game at that point, but, you know, the overcap was 6. It's just that they are definitely main wolves putting up that resistance, and so it's finally being brought down. Those walls are finally coming down a little bit for that 35 then to go ahead and enter in for that top goal. And so top path is looking like it's Luckerbunch is making a solid push there. Rotom obviously the next spot to observe right here as it goes down pretty quickly, honestly. And so now we can kind of look at what's going on this bottom path right there. Sort of a knockdown drag out fight, you could say, just between our supports and our support tank. And so Blissey obviously going to be heading back. It looked like it was devastating, but we can see that the hyperspace hole in the goal is going to bring down maybe a different story here.
Yeah, they're trying to figure out who they could pick off, and Luckerbunch is just finding a lot of these picks just out in the open when main wolves happens to get split off. So Luckerbunch is trying to go ahead and collect, and now starting to break some of these front goals, making it harder for a lot of the players to go ahead and grab some of these objectives. They're focusing right now on that Slowbro in the back, but Juan gonna be popping it up, trying to go ahead and deal some damage onto the Dreadnought. Maybe that beam got through to them, and it's not going to be the case. Luckerbunch is going to go ahead and secure that down, and now their rings unbounds, their hoops unbounds are also coming out, and now looking for somebody here. Angel, Midnight Slash coming straight through, dealing a little bit. Now looking at Lucoding, going to go ahead and hit him in the back, going to be able to get that. Now the hold here onto Angel, is it enough? We'll see if that they have the team to follow up. No, Arg is getting chased down by Angel, but the damage by Feppy going to be able to bring him down. So now it's going to be up to the poor Lucario, who's just chilling here, trying to figure out if they can get in here. Can I trying to slow up Feppy? It's not going to be the case. And now they're looking for more. Can I? And now has a little bit of backup from Juan. We'll see if that is going to be the case. They're chipping away at Arg. and probably going to play it a little bit safer as they try to find a little bit of positioning here for this Rotom up at top.
Absolutely right, and so we're gonna see, speaking of being up there up top, Maine Wolves are kind of all over this, at least right now. We are noticing that push though from Luckerbunch, a lot more on the mini map that we can see, but even just right in front of our eyes, Lucario with the pup getting ready. We're gonna see if there's, yep, there it is, there's the deploying of it, and actually Lucario gonna be dropping pretty quickly because that's just a burst from sheer numbers at that point. I mean, you're noticing all these members of Maine Wolves, but being brought down in a huge way by that Midnight Slash. I mean, Sanji just got to be happy with that play, but then Angel gonna come right back to it with the KO streaks, and so Sanji, yeah, there you go. It's the KO streaks back and forth with our Absol players specifically.
Yeah, they're just trying to deal whatever damage they can, and now they set their sights onto that Rotom. There's a lot of really good trades coming out, and even though Luckerbunch looks like they have the lead right now, we'll see if the Maine Wolves happen to get Zapdos and potentially flip this later. We do see them just trying to get experience and get strong enough in order to go ahead and finish off this fight.
That's right, Superior gonna go ahead and soft boiled on its own self right there, so that's looking good. Blissey gonna be brought back up, and so we do have a Dreadnought in play. It's just that nobody's really gone for it in time, and so likely that's gonna be left alone. There could be other priorities, but also you're seeing one of those might be that Luckerbunch is going to go ahead and hide out in this tall grass and position for that Zapdos fight. We only have about 3 seconds left until that's going to happen, and so it's like not especially obvious where what Maine Wolves would come in through, but we did see majorly that most of them were through that choke point, and so it does look like Luckerbunch is taking notice and trying to just kind of adjust on the fly as you need to. And so here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to await that team fight here at the Zap.
Yeah, so Luckerbunch is trying to figure out how they want to play this out. They know that they don't need the Zapdos. They're playing it very safe and waiting for them to engage. And Maine Wolves is actually going to open it up by finding a quick pick onto Nick on the back line. But now Luckerbunch trying to make a comeback here, applying their pressure with their own Hoops Unbound. But the damage coming through from Angel is so much right now. Already picking off 2 from Luckerbunch. And the damage, another one going in like DJ Khaled, just grabbing more and more. They're going to go ahead and bring even more damage. And now looking at the Zapdos, this is going to be their win condition in order to win this. But Sanji not going to make it easy. Looking at the backline, follows with the Bliss assistance as well. Has that level of pressure and keeping themselves up. Now it's just Juan versus the world. It's not going to end up happening here. They're continuing the pressure. Zapdos down to a quarter, and they're chipping away at him. And it looks like Luckerbunch is going to go ahead and finish this out, as they are going to go ahead and win it, as they are going to try to go ahead and score. But it looks like the surrender is going to come through. The damage is already done.